grid for solar power energy, and I'm joined by Greg Bradley, who is the sales manager for Seal Solar. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for coming out.
Yes, there is a lot happening right here that we're going to learn how this all works here. So what ways can Seal Solar help with energy independence?
So energy independence, there's a couple of ways that we help. One, if you do solar only, then you're locking in what you pay for your utility costs. It's not dictated by rates changes or anything. So you're independent on your financial side there. The other part of independence that we offer is solar plus storage, which is what we're talking about, a microgrid here. And that independence it's total independence because you're not dependent on the grid at all. If there's an outage, whether it's for a few minutes or a month, you're not dependent on the grid. So that's the other part of energy independence.
Okay, we'll explain exactly what this is here in a second, but if it's a cloudy day, like actually today is a little bit cloudy, does it still work?
It does. That's a common question that we get. And I mean, if it's thunderstorms and really black outside, maybe not. But like right now, we're pretty cloudy out, and his system's producing a 1.32 kW, that's kilowatts. And that's what your house runs off of. It's honestly, if his heat wasn't on, he probably would be powering his home strictly off of solar right now, even though it's cloudy out.
Okay.
But his heat's on right now because he's pulling 4 kW, and we were playing around with it, so we know that's the heat.
So the 1.26 is fairly low. What would be an average or a high number?
On this system, it's a 10 kW, so if it wasn't cloudy, he'd probably be pushing about 10 kilowatt hours of power right now. And in that situation, you would be sending 4.2 to the house, and the rest, 5.8 or whatever it is, would be going back to the grid, and he'd be getting credits for that for when the sun's down and he's not using his battery.
Okay, yes, so explain further. This is batteries?
Yes, ma'am, this is batteries. This is 19.2 kilowatt hours of storage, which will power his home for a while, especially when the sun comes up and recharges it. So it's a whole home backup. It'll run 15 kW of power continuously.
So similar to a generator?
Yes,
correct?
yes, similar to a generator. It is. There's a few benefits that are better than a generator. You don't have maintenance on these. There's no fuel costs on them because the sun is the fuel. So you have no upkeep. It's just sits here and works.
Okay, well, I want to see this thing in action. So if we lose power, is it going to do?
So what'll happen, and we'll have Cole cut the power off here in a minute, but what'll happen is the power coming from the grid, if you can see that arrow right there, the power coming from the grid will shut off and it'll turn yellow. And then the battery is going to supply the difference between what we're producing in solar and what the house needs.
Okay, well,
So
I want to see this happen.
We can have Cole cut it off real quick.
I hear it going.
Yep, see the grid just shut down? It's turned colors.
Yes.
And now you're pulling 2.05 from your house and 1.18 from the grid, and it's running 3.14 total.
And maybe you mentioned this already, but did you say how long these batteries can stay charged for?
It just kind of depends on your usage. Like right now, with this heat going, he's pulling a pretty good draw. If his heat wasn't on, I mean, these things would power, like if you're worried about your deer meat or your CPAP machine or just keeping your lights on, these things will power, days like that. And it recharges with the sun every day, so.
Interesting. Well, if somebody wants to reach out to you and just learn more information about this, how can they do that?
They can go to our website, sealsolar.com, or call us at 501-376-SEAL. It's 501-376-7325.
Okay, Greg, this has been very interesting. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely. We'll have more Good Morning Arkansas after the break.